Hey, what's up everyone? I gotta drive now, so sorry to say this, but I gotta be careful. I got an update on parts. I'm gonna be careful with these ladies who are on scooters. I've got all the Pajero parts that I need for now for one of the steps that are required for getting that Pajero done. And now I'm driving to get home because, hey, I'm almost pretty much done with all the part hunting. Dad wants to paint the car, so I'm going through the stock that I've got available to validate that if I can do most of the paint job under the hood, validate if I can do most of the paint job around the wheels, and get all that stuff out of the way and done with. Now I still have to order belts and a few other little things. Have to order the belts, have to order brake fluid to flush the system, have to order the right head gasket for the engine, for the right compressions and everything based on the specs. Is there other stuff that I have to order? I can't remember. I can't really realistically remember, but the steps that I have to take are, I'm just being careful here because I don't want to hit any cars. I could have gone, but yeah. So I've got to check whether it's the right head gasket or not for the engine. This guy says he's going straight, so I'm going to turn. And I'm just driving Mum's Toyota because mine is unregistered, as I said in an earlier video. I've taken mine off the road because of all the expenses associated with getting it legal, and also because it's not really, it's losing its safeness. The reason I took it off the road was a couple of reasons. One was how much it was costing me to fix the engine, and two, how things that I couldn't afford to fix were becoming much more unsafe than before. So over time, the parts have been wearing out so much somewhere along the driveline that when I've been driving, the rear end just wants to slide over the mountain or some weird thing, or it wants to wheel spin at 60 kilometers an hour or something. And I want to make my car as safe as I possibly can so I can drive it without issues. So when I get home, what I got to do is I've got to put the bottom end together, and then I've got to figure out what head gasket I need. After that, I've got to go to school because I've got some stuff that I haven't finished, and I'm only going to get one more chance to finish it. So if I mess this up, I don't pass. It actually is going to cost me a lot of money to pass. So money that I do and don't have, I'll have it as of next week, the money to pass, but this week, nothing. I can't afford it. So now that I'm home, pigeons all over the roof, I can put the car away and get these parts out. Now I'm not sure if we're going to have to need the car again. All I know is I got to put the car back in because it's really hot. There's my car over there, not driving it. This thing drives okay, but it needs a lot done with at the moment. So though it's 2007, it's pretty new. It's been looked after well. Mum doesn't realise it needs new tyres, and she doesn't want to replace tyres because money, money, money. Money talks, the rest walks. That's their saying, my parents' money talk. So now we get to see another step, another chapter in the Pajero happen, where it's going to step up the game. So to paint the whole car, it's going to cost us about $700 for normal paints. There is another paint that we're going to need, but like, screw this. And also I'm in the driveway. I can drive, it just got to be much more careful now because you shouldn't be driving while holding a phone in your hand. This is not a logical situation to be in. So that should be in far enough. And one thing I like with this car is when you're cold, every time someone starts up the vehicle is revving at 2000 RPM for about 30 seconds. Every time they start the car up, within about 30 seconds, it's still doing 1000 RPM, and people just go, you know, put their foot on the brake, put it straight into gear, and it, like going from park to reverse, and it goes bang in the gear, and it just hurts the gearbox. You should wait until you're at normal idle for the engine. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to damage the gearbox. It's one of those things I've learnt a lot about. It hasn't done enough miles to be over 100,000. But it's a pretty old car at this point in time. It's 12 years old. Still hasn't clocked it. Doesn't get enough driving lessons. So, I got a few more tasks to do besides just left, right, center. Oh, so there is about $300 in parts now to put together for that car. Now, my dad, he reckons the shockers are fine, but another guy came around, he's a mechanic who actually knows this shit, and he said one of the shockers is good, one of the shockers is shot, you need new shockers. And I got the exact same Gabriel shockers that we're about to unravel now as we get them out of this car. Okay, so I really am tempted by one of the tricks I just watched from the tips and tricks of Mighty Car Mods, because, you know, it's not my house or anything, and it's not my experience, it's actually their experience and their education which helps. So what's in this big bag is all the parts, because I had to park somewhere else, because my god, people come out of nowhere. That's what the shop said. So here is all of the bearings. That's about $200. That's $200. This here is about $80. And this one here is about $80. So their weight in gold is a bit odd, but the Gabriel Ultras, exactly the same shockers that came out of the car. I guess they are anyway. They're a little bit damaged, the boxes. I'm just looking for the best entry exit points for the parts to come out of. Sometimes you can just, you know, do what you got to do and she'll just open. So I'm going to open it from this end because I want to make sure, because I didn't think, I was a bit dumb. I'm going to pull this shocker out in the sense that I didn't actually bring my shocker. So this is the Ultra Gabriel Ultras. They're a little bit shot as well because they're not very well painted. They're pretty much identical shockers. That's what they look like. And the knuckles, the dimensions are pretty much identical. I don't see them changing very much. And they got the same sticker on it and everything. So they're white, the Gabriel shockers, and they're the same as the originals that were on the car originally. So one goes to one side and the other goes to the other side. I'm going to put that back in the box for now. So that's unraveling one mystery. Hang on, I'm going to get this in the box. Come on, get in the box, get in the box. There we go. Okay, so now we've got those in the box. Next is them. Ah, shit, I didn't lock my shit again. No, that doesn't happen very often, but it happens enough that it's like, shit, why didn't I? Now, they haven't, these look a bit weird. Piston pin bush. Why is it piston pin bush? I didn't order piston pin bushes. And like I got a mess here. Okay. So, this is going to be very interesting because I didn't expect it to be called piston pin bushes. This is not a piston pin bush. This is actually something completely different. These are balance shaft bushes. So that's for the balance shafts. So they go in the front of the motor, which is not this side, it's this side. And they go into this slot here. So down the very back, that's where these ones go. So they go in there. Because when you replace your bearings, you just do all. Especially if you have an issue. King. And these ones here are the normal ones we needed. These are the ones for the push rods, con rods. Here's what they look like. These will be the few foul oversized. And Dad wants to help do this, but I'm just going to do what I got to do. I got to put this together and make sure this is the right dimensions, make sure it's not, you know, too foul, too many. They do not go in this section. This section goes in the next section up. So they go in this section here. And they go up and down all the time for that one. Mitsubishi. I like how they say 4G51 to 54. And then these ones have another opening. Oh, they tape them up. I need a knife for this one. That's going to be easy. And to think that these parts cost a lot of money. I'm glad they're precision though. That's on the box. So they weren't, like, them ones are called King. These ones are just precision. Come on. There we go. That didn't work, so we'll go the other way. There we go. That's the way to do it. And yeah, all this paint stuff is the stock that I'm checking against to see what's going to work for our job that we got to do. So, if I open this, these are the bearings for the bottom end of the motor, which belong in here. So as you can see, the middle one is this one here, the big bugger. These other ones go around the other sides. There's actually no specific order to put brand new ones in, unless they are already embedded in which case you have to number these and put them in order like here. These ones are all junk because we have some dodgy ones that we can't reuse. Then we have these ones. They're a bit junk, so they can't be reused either. This all now has to go together, and we have to validate what parts are good, what parts are bad. Putting together the bottom end of the motor isn't going to be hell fun, but it's going to be hell whatever it is. So the first step in order to do this right is I got to get the con rods, I got to get them ready, and then what I got to do, the very first thing I can do before I put them in and put the bearings together is I got to put the bottom end together. So essentially the first step is to put these bearings in, put the crank in and lubricate it as I go. Once that's in, I need to make sure that the crank is spinning freely. If it's really rough to spin, then that's bad. So I've got to be very careful with this. These should be the right foul oversize in order for this to work. And if these are the wrong foul oversize, well, there's going to be about a $2,000 worth of motor go down the toilet. I don't think we're going to have that problem though. I strongly believe we're going to be okay because we've already done the measurements. We already know what we had to get. And it's all in spec, pretty much. So, ideally you do not use the oil we're using. We're using just normal engine oil for like a car like this, which is just general stuff. What you should use is the actual grade of oil for your car. Now I'm checking the time. It's 12:33 and it's lunch. I'm not sure what I can film with this camera, with this live stream. Literally, this is going to be a bit of an interesting one to try and do. So, that's not good. So there we go. That's the best we can do. So if you guys want to stick around and watch a little bit, I've got to get tools that are 19mm overhead. I can get a wrench. And they were, I think I did talk these down a little bit, so these should be about wrong size. That's okay. They're 17. I was hoping I was going to get that right first pop, but I'm wrong first pop. So like I said, got to do the bottom end first. I got the wrong tools again. Got tools everywhere. I can use any tool I've got around me. So 17, the right grade. Crap. Okay, looks like I'm a little bit of a liar. I got a socket. I do not have the tool in the shed. They're all outside. Trust me, there's a lot more tools outside than this. So what I've got to do is crack all of these bolts. It's easier. The longer your bar, the more leverage you've got. I just did the middle one first. Now I'm doing the outside one because, well, order is order. And it's a bad order. They say you should start at one end and work your way to the other end, or start from the middle and work your way out from there to keep it all nice and balanced. So if you do the front, if you do the middle first, do the middle first. The way they want you to do it is essentially most of your loads at the back. So what you do, you start here, go here, 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 here. That way you end up, the least load is at the front of the motor. Weird logic to everything. And I don't have table space for all this stuff. It's literally a pigsty again. All because I'm doing the paint. I just cleaned a shelf outside. I'm going to put the paint on the shelf outside, ready for painting. So when we do painting, there'll be no way I'm going to do a live stream on painting because it's just going to get the camera dirty. Live stream isn't going to work out. Yeah, there's all this yaddy-daddy-da about painting, which is why I'm not going to bring out the camera and do all that. This should work like this. It's not working like that. There's got to be weird reasons why this isn't all working. There is, however, another trick. I've got the wrong bar here, but whatever. That's what I can do. Because once you've got it loose, it's easier. I'm just swinging the top around because the weight counterbalances itself. You've just got to stand back a little bit and not hit yourself in the face. Once she's in motion, her weight at the top here will help you swivel her around. So we're almost there, guys, and then we can start pulling apart the bottom ends bearings, putting new ones in. They should bed in pretty quickly to the top end. You're meant to do 1,500 kilometers with oil, filter, and then do your change again. This is the new life of this motor, and it's going to live until there is no fuel left in the world. Well, so they say there'll be no more fuel left in the world, fossil fuel wise. Okay, so we're getting there. I wonder what's so interesting about the bottom ends bearings. So you might be watching this. So there's a reason actually why we actually are replacing the bearings, because this thing was blowing head gaskets through the oil reservoir. It blew the head gasket, and because of the thing about maintaining oil pressure, we've got an okay pump. It's not perfect, but that's wear and tear. The thing about oil pressure is if you lose oil pressure down the bottom end, it will cause other stuff to get damaged. So to maintain oil pressure, having very brand new components means you'll be able to maintain the most highest oil pressure to every component that needs oil. That means we're safeguarding our lives for the engine. So the engine should last for quite a long time. She'll be rebuilt. She'll be in pretty good condition. The way we're doing things isn't perfect, but she should last. She should last. She shouldn't have a problem. It doesn't matter if I damage these bearings or not, but I'm going to keep them anyway. I don't want to damage things because I'm not like that. Let's see. Is there a mason here? No. Okay, well, since we don't have a mallet in here, I know where there is a mallet. All because we're stupid and we don't, look after our tools very well, don't we? So that's how you do that. Okay, so now I've got to find somewhere to put this. I'll put on the vise. So what we'll do, I will start getting these things ready, but I've got to put in all of these new stuff on them. Don't scratch them up. Got to put the crank in straight after. There's a lot of things I've got to do. I'm not sure if I should put these ones in. I think we'll be okay. We don't have to put them in. We just have to put the bottom end together and not worry about that because that's a different story. So go. They've already got some stuff on them that shouldn't be there. It's like residual garbage. I'll do the middle one first because that one's ready to come out. And also, these things are not going to be easy. They have the number order, so I should also try it. I'll put this back in. I'll start by getting all of these out. Actually, not better still. I should clean up a little bit. Put all this paint on the rack that I was going to put them on. And get this area cleaned a little bit. So, guys, I hate to make it like this, but I might have to end the video, do this all first. Or maybe I won't worry about it and I'll just do what I've got to do because these are going to go in the car now. And we already know they're the right ones. So I'm just going to put them there, ready to go on. This might be a two-person job to get the new shockers on. I have no clue. But based on the paint job for this, it's going to cost about $800 for us to do it. People might think that's cheap, but that's us doing the work, not someone else. Something just happened. The stream ended. I said something about cheap is not good. Now I decided, you know, I'm not even going to carry all this stuff like this. I'm going to find another way to transport it. Best option is this bag. I prefer a box at this point. I don't know if we have any more boxes because Dad keeps chucking them all out. What's the best and worst case scenario? Could use that box. Come on, we got to have a box somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Solution. We got a tub. It's a little bit dirty. It's got a little bit of chain oil in it. I might just throw some paper or something down the bottom just so it doesn't... Ah, there we go. The RD8 brakes bag will go down the bottom to keep our paint cans clean of oil because we don't want to get oil. Except we are going to get oil because we've got oil contaminated hands. We don't want to get oil on our paint. So we do, just to make it so it's easier to transport everything. I can't do it with the camera on me. I actually carried all this stuff outside and was like, where did I put this stuff? This one we can get ready. Paint what we've got to paint, do what we've got to do. Yeah. So some no one knows this, but this stuff is very, very old. I got this years ago, and it's an industrial version. It's an industrial paint. Don't know if it has an expiration date on it. Has a date on the bottom of some sort, but I have no idea. It's 2015. I think that paint's from 2015. And I bought these Dulax spray cans for the Fairlane. That's what's actually coating the Fairlane right now. It's still not finished. That's Clear Coat's can cover. Acrylic clear. There we go. You belong here. It's acrylic clear. That WX paint is empty, by the way. I should just chuck it out. But that's expensive stuff, mate. If I knew that was expensive, if I knew I could get something cheaper than that, I would. But I didn't. This is actually a stupid order to do for anything. Because the big cans on top with a lot of weight might fall down and drop on your paint cans, making them trigger. Getting those cans triggered would not be a good idea. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this stuff out so it's like all ready to go, can paint it ASAP, no more bullshitting, just get it done. So, the paint can there, here. I've got to put these all on this floor. This is the place, the only place I'll fit. Small cans to the middle, big cans to the bottom. And I got told you don't, I don't know why it's silver, you don't need to worry about clear with the acrylic stuff. I don't know how much black is left in there. Put that up there. I know they've got heaps of black because I bought heaps of blacks for the Triton. That's missing its nozzle. And then with the metal shields, find the one that's got the least in it. I'm actually not sure. I think it's this one with the least. So use the ones with the least, put them to the front, and put the good ones to the back. So if you have multiple of the same product, that's normally what you do. You put the old to the back and the new to the the new to the back, old to the front. You use the stuff in that order. So not sure how much black's left. Color spec is empty. Rust converter, white, black, black, clear, silver. But I'm putting it in the corner because I don't think I'm going to be using it. That's pretty much that stuff organized. And if we get a paint can opener. Okay, so that deals with that next step. Organizing that table, so now we've got some more space. I got more space now, guys, a little bit. Not very much. It gives me a little bit of room for breathing, for movement, you name it. Now, I'm done with the gasket material making. So what I've got to do is I've got to pull the bottom end out, put the bottom end bearings in, put the crank in with the new bearings, put the bearings in, and then put the caps on with the bearings in. Then I'm ready to go to the next step, putting in the top end of the motor. That's the only way I'm going to get the specs for what head gasket I need once this is all assembled. But also have to do this to specifications. Otherwise, if I don't do specifications, everything's a little bit loose. It won't be where it needs to be, and we'll identify what we need. Okay, so bearings are out. This is all ready. I now need to get the bearings actually out to work on this. So this is actually going to be the interesting part. Because to get them out, it's easy with a screwdriver and going from the side. Preferably, I think this side makes it move the most. Well, you don't want to actually scratch anything. You just want to bump her out. And that one bumped. So actually, I'll just show you guys what I've done, how I do this. So I get them, so as you can see, that's loose, 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 that's tight. I put the screwdriver here, and I give it a bit of a tap, or a push it or something, and then it will just pop out. I don't know if I can get this in the right position to show you anything. This is going to be tricky. Now this is that's pretty close. Come on. So if we watch, whoops, I did slip with that one. That was bad, very, very bad. And that pops them. So that's how you pop them. But as I just said, I made a mistake with this one. I actually hit the bearing here. It's only just slight screwing. That's not good, but it's not bad. So this one was scored right about here. So right there, I've scored it because I hit it with the screwdriver. So like I just said, these are all pretty much junk at this point, because they're going to get a fresh pack of bearings. There is no order in which they go. They just come in the pack, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do. Now, we already know the new one here goes in the middle, and we don't just come in there anyway. We got to pull the bearing out. So I'll change the camera around and make this a little bit easier. So I've got to pull the actual bearing out, put it to the side or something, and then you pick which one is the bottom one. I don't know if there's any specifics on which way they actually go. They just bolt together like so, and they fit. To figure out which one's which, I don't think there's an order in which they go together. Like this could go this way, that could go that way. I don't think it really matters. So what we do, I shouldn't put them here either, because dirt and contamination and scratching. What we do, grab an oil can, go over here. I got to pump this thing up. This is for the Pajero. This is for that 4056 Pajero. I mean, haven't you read the title of the video? That's what this one's for. What we do is drop it in, that all goes together nicely. And then we put the oil on the top. This one actually looks a bit funky. Is there meant to be? Yeah, there's not meant to be anything there. When you look at it, you know, there's all these oil grooves here, but not in this one, and then here. That's a bit odd. That goes on last. So what we'll do is I'll try to be smart about this. This is originally a number 5. Maybe I should do these as well. I'm just thinking about it because this car, that's Falcon XW, and you wouldn't realize it because this thing has been modified that much. The dash is not an XW. The side skirts are not XW factory. They're actually modified, and you can't tell with all this crap in there. But while looking at this rim, you should be able to identify straight away that's from an XW Falcon. And I'll forget about looking at the VIN plate because it says Fairmont gear or something. And then if we want to talk about what type of engine's in it, there's your engine. It's got double overhead carburetors with a gas intake, and it's capable, well, I don't know what it's capable of. I haven't seen this actually drive, but Dad's driven it once before it was rebuilt, and it was faster than the free. It's halfway there. Look, there's that. There's the car. And then let's look up. Look at that. It's only partially restored. It's not finished. Although, you got to admit, these are just dirty panels. This one here has gotten scratched up from crap rubbing up against it, which is why this piece of foam's just sitting in between, because that panel rubs against this one and it scratches each other up. It's self-destructive, this vehicle. It won't stop destroying itself. And then you have this panel here, which, well, it looks like a chip, but it could be something else. That's just acrylic. There's no clear on that. That's just straight up acrylic. Yeah. It's not my job to restore this one. This is actually Dad's. He had people trying to buy this off of him, like $1,000 or $2,000 or something, and Dad's like, screw them, I'm not selling it for any less than 5. And Dad said he wants 10 grand for it. Some guys came out that he knows personally, and they said he did a good job with this, and Dad told him how he did it. And then I said, Dad, they wouldn't even give Dad 10 grand for it. He turned around and he said, I'll take it for 5 grand. I said, sorry, but this is Dad's project. If he doesn't have a project, he won't want to live anymore. So, yeah, it is worth it. This is not actually a straight up Falcon. This is a Fairmont gear. So it's a Falcon Fairmont gear. So, yeah. And then there's the seats. They're out of, like, Dad said, I think XP. The XP seats. They have no headrests. Because back in the day, they never had headrests. Yeah. So I gotta continue with this as best as I can. I think I was trying to plan out what I want to do and how I want to do this. Because I gotta get the bottom end done, drop the crank in. Actually, they'll give me more space if I can drop the crank in, but I want to try and make sure everything is in symmetry as possible. 83, Dad wouldn't XG. That's cool. But yeah, Dad sold it. What a pain in the butt. Your dad. Yeah, nah, don't worry about it. We're here to make videos, but it's also not a, you know, this is Pajero. And the title of the video doesn't say XW Falcon, it's actually Dad's car. He wants to sell it at the same time he doesn't want to sell it. Because he's done so much to it, he's never going to get the value out of it if he can't drive it. You know, screw this, I'm just going to pull out number 2, number 1, number 4, number 5. I mean, most damaged bearings now. I'm just dropping. Like I said, I can probably do this in like 15 minutes if I really wanted to, but you know, I'm slow. And I'll actually show you, if you stick around at the end of the video, how to check that your bearings actually the right size for it, because to make sure these are actually the right size, your crank has to be free spinning at tension. So when your motor is all torqued together correctly to specs, which I can't do while I'm watching the video, making the video, when your engine's at specs, you have to make sure that everything is free spinning, that it spins as freely as possible. Otherwise, if it does not spin freely and it's tight, it's literally going to fire up the bearings, it's going to destroy them, there's going to be no bearing material left. It will literally not last 10 kilometers on the road, probably not. So you've got to literally make sure that everything is quite nice and snug and ready to roll properly. Put this over here. Now we can get to the fun part. We get to put the crank in already, which is ridiculous. How did we manage to get to this state so fast? I mean, we're only 36 minutes into a Pajero video, apparently. Dad always says, oh, not too much oil, but I always do plenty of oil because oil needs to be coated. It needs to be coated in oil. So get to this part, we smear the oil on the bearing, make sure it's all nice and evenly coated. Because if we're not evenly coated as a bearing, she will fire up and she will not like it. And this metal one is especially interesting because it's actually got three surfaces of bearing material. Bearing material to the front, as in the front of the motor, there's bearing material. The middle is the circumference is the inside diameter is, and then the faces are bearing material. So you literally need to make sure you get this one spot on, the middle one. Now I've never actually done bearings before, guys, but I do understand the concept of why you need to make sure everything's nice and loose, nice and snug as a bug. If you don't make sure it's all snug as a bug, if the material here is smaller than that lobes, essentially you're going to put something big into something small, it's not going to like it, it will never run. It will just destroy something before it runs. If everything's the right tensions, spec, everything, it will be fine. So, this thing here has to go in a certain way, and to get it in I need to move this thing over. That is literally tight. Oh shit, I'm bleeding. I didn't even feel myself get cut. Oh, that's not good. Tetanus. I'm actually due for that this year, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's a bit too tight. But also the bearings. Ow. I haven't felt it yet, it's bothering me that I'm bleeding and I've got oil on my hands. So that's actually a very bad combination. You shouldn't really do stuff without gloves. I've got to figure out, because there's sometimes positions in which you've got to get it into. Another reason why I might want to grab a mallet is because I might slide it one way. This is what Dad taught me to do. Now just get a mallet and just hit the front of the crank to make sure she's in the right position. She's just a little bit too tight for me. I don't actually like how tight she is. And in fact, she's so damn tight. broke a little bit again. That second time's happened. We've got a bit of a problem. And I'm going to have to figure out what's going on right now, right here. But this is how you know that's tight. If you can't turn this by hand, I'm literally turning it. You got a problem, and you can't force the crank in. So if we look here, you can see it's already touching there and touching there. Then here there's a huge space. That means this is the wrong size bearings. Now, because it's the wrong size, we might have to order another set because that is just incorrect. They should not be that size for that scenario. That there's something wrong. Either Dad took the wrong measurements and I've ordered the wrong size oversize, or there's something else going on. I have no idea what's going on, but this is bad. We can't put that together. And if we force it in here, that's not good. I'm pretty sure they wear out there anyway. That's in the bedding process. But these are literally not that badly worn out there. That shouldn't be that hard to get the bearing in. If it is that hard, you should stop, you should check, and you should make sure everything's okay. And that's very, very difficult to do, especially when everything doesn't want to seat. You could force it in a little bit, try to, but that shouldn't be that tight. The moment it's that tight, you really need to identify how much the diameter is to each other. So I now need to figure out what this lobe's diameter is itself, and then I need to figure out what this bearing's diameter is assembled. So I'll do that with one bearing. I'm not sure if I have all the tools here necessary. Dad has special ones. There's a way to do this, and hopefully we're not in trouble that we have to buy another set of bearings, because if I can't put this bottom end together, I can't get the next parts, because I literally asked for some help to pick the right bearings, and literally no chance. So, see, no, I don't think I can find it. That's not the right one. Wrong one. Dad, you need to stop putting stuff on top of containers. What fell down that time? I have no idea. I can't do it anymore now, guys. Not with that. That is actually very, 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 very bad. If I grab, this is number one bearing. This is the original bearing. If I put this on top, this should just drop on. So you see how this one, oh crap, sorry. See how this one sits on perfectly? When you just drop it on, it just sits. This one here, as you can see, way too thick. This bearing material is way too freaking thick, and you can kind of see that in the video. But this is very, very bad. Now, it's either my mistake on purchasing these bearings, or it's Dad's mistake on measuring, or their mistake in sending out the wrong parts. I'm not sure. This is why you have to check things. There's sometimes numbers on here which might help. They're 050s. I don't think I bought 050s. These are all 050. That sounds wrong. I did not buy 050s. I'm pretty sure I bought 030s, not 050. I'm going to have to make sure with the rest, because they're oversized by a lot. These are 0.75. I'm not sure if these will be okay. What are these ones? The originals are standard AC. But 0.5, I'm pretty certain I ordered 0.3. I'm going to have to probably end the video there, guys, and figure out what the hell's going wrong. That doesn't seem right. Something's been dispatched wrong, I reckon, because that's not what I ordered. I ordered 03s, not 05. I'm absolutely certain of that. They go up to 07. And they weren't that badly worn out. I can actually probably check it against the receipts. What did I order? And say that the dispatch sent out the wrong parts. I ordered 7, the other size. What does it say here? These are just part numbers. There's nothing here to help me. I have to figure out what I ordered and make sure that it's the right part or not. because if it's the wrong part, I'm going to let them know that this is not right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to end the video there. Like I just said, there's a lot of work to still do. The engine's not going together yet. Unfortunately, oversized parts are oversized parts. They're way oversized. I have to fix up the